Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I bring you all new cards. The final cards revealed for Cyberstorm. I'm super happy to go over these cards with you. Let's just go straight into this. We have like 8 cards to go over, so I'm going to try to make these 2 minutes long as possible. So first things first, we have Pendulum Moon. It's a light spellcaster pendulum effect monster, level 1, 200 attack, 700 defense. Pendulum effect says that you can only use the pendulum effect once per turn. During the main phase, you can add one face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, then destroy this card. So it basically says, hey, in the scale, you can blow itself up to add one from the extra deck back to hand. Cool effect. It's a scale. I actually don't know what the scale is. We'll just find out. And then its main monster effect is, if you have 2 cards in your pendulum zone, add up to 2 of your face-up pendulum monsters from your extra deck to hand, while each of their levels exclusively the pendulum scales of the cards of the pendulum zone. Also, for the rest of the turn, unless you pendulum summon after this effect resolves, you can't activate monster effects, and the effects of any cards in your pendulum zone are negated. This card's really interesting. I'm not sure how I think it's like good by turn 3 or 4. But turn 1, I'm not sure how you gain this thing on, like how you gain the monster effect on field while after pendulum summoning. Does that make sense? Because this card is a level 1, so yes, you can just normal summon it, then pen, which is cool. But I'm not sure how you're getting scales and material. Does that make sense? Like, how are you going to get your scales in your extra deck to be summoned back out? I know, it's a really strange card. Now, the next card we have is, Wombi. Wombi is a really cool card for trap decks. This card, I think, is going to see a lot of play in decks that don't have a normal summon, Paleo. But let's just go straight into this. So it's a level 2 monster, insect, light, 0 attack, 0 defense, Paleo. But it basically has only one effect. During the end phase, you can send this card from your hand field to the graveyard. Excavate cards to the top of your deck equal to the number of unused monster zones by your opponent. Then set 1 evacuated trap card and send the rest to the graveyard during the next phase. Also the rest of the turn at the bottom of the deck in any order. So basically what this card says is, hey, excavate the top cards, get a trap card, set it, and then if you don't use that trap, it's just going to send it to the grave during the end phase. And then put all the other cards in the top of your deck or the bottom of your deck in any order. Which is really insane. The fact that this card is just like, hey, let's play a free body that just allows us to do a prosperity without prospering is insane. Like, the fact that you just, like, let's just prospeed real quick at end phase by tributing this damn thing is incredibly good. And then you get to choose one of the traps and set it. Holy crap, imagine prospering and then doing this. You dug 10 cards in your trap deck. You can't be inconsistent anymore. This card is insane for decks that don't have a normal. Eldritch, Paleozoic. These cards would love to have this card, and this card is going to be great. Now we have a new card. We have Boink Boink. Now Boink Boink is an anime card. I don't see any deck playing this card, but it seems interesting enough. Boink Boink is a quick play spell. You can only activate the second effect once per turn. Once per turn. And you can target one face-up monster. Its first effect is you can target one face-up monster on the field. Its current attack and defense and level are higher than the original values. They become the respective original values. Then pay life points in multiples of 100, max 1,000. So, this card is a little confusing to read at first. Basically says, hey, if there's a current attack and defense or level that are higher than its original value, so if you increase its level by 1 or increase its attack and defense by whatever, they become the retrospective original values, then pay multiples of 100, max 1,000. So I guess you lower them, like, so you can't use other base stats to make them even bigger. I guess the whole point of this card is like, okay, put them back to the original and then boost them. Really weird card. Really weird card. Like, think about this. Like imagine if you have the field spell for tier elements. You'd lower them back down to 3,000, and then you'd use this card to make it be a 4,000 instead of 3,500. Really weird card. I don't see how anyone's playing that. Second effect is, during the main phase, if your life points are equal to Your opponent, while this card's in your graveyard, set this card to a field. I don't know what deck is playing this card. I'll be honest with you. Like, the only deck I can think is like Tier Elements, because their field spell makes them bigger. And technically, you can use this card to then lower them and then make them higher again, because it makes them 4,000 instead of 3,500, or makes them 3,500 instead of 3,000. But I just don't see it, my dude. It's only one monster, too. I have no reason why we would play this card. Just a pack filler. Pack filler card. Now we have a new card, which I don't think is pack filler. Light Dragon Tuner Effect Monster, level 2. We have Ringworm, the 100 Apple Dragon. I guess he's on a little apple. I think it's a Greek lore. There's a dragon with golden apples, but whatever. It's a Light Dragon Tuner Effect Monster, 200 attack. Oh, wait, 100 attack, my bad. Level 2. 101 defense. Really cool defense. You only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. First effect is, if there is a face-up non-effect monster on the field, special this card from your hand, Blue Eye support. Let's just make a free Baron. This card just screaming, hey, I'm a level 4 tuner that special summons itself when you have a normal vanilla on field. Make Baron. That's what this card's screaming at Blue Eyes players. Make Baron. And then its second effect is, during the turn, this card will use a single material as a monster. Banish this card from graveyard. Special summon 1 Apple Tuner. Level 2, attack 100, defense 100. Make Baron again! This card literally just screams, hey, let's just make synchros. This is just Blue Eyes Tuner. This is literally just a Blue Eyes Tuner. Because all the Blue Eyes are level 8. And they're all vanillas. So you can literally just play this card, special summon it, Big Baron. That's the only deck I really see this card being played in. You would say maybe Dragon Link, but they're not really playing normal monsters. Heretics, possibly. I'm pretty sure all the normal monsters they play are already tuners. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know why you'd play this in a Heretic. And again, if this is unofficial Heretic support, someone's going to have to let me know in the comments, because God knows Konami kind of forgot about that archetype. Well, not necessarily. We did get the seal. We did get her seal, but that's really just Dragon Link support. I don't know. This card's cool. Really interesting. But honestly, I just feel like this is like a Band-Aid for Kriston Haka Fiberax. Just so Blue Eyes can make Baron a lot easier again. That's all I really see this card. I don't know whatever vanillas you are playing. Like who's playing level 6 vanillas, but it ain't like exactly Heraldics. Like, this is like Heraldic Blue Eye support. And I'm happy for that. But that's really all this card is. So, it's cool. Really interesting. Let's go on to the next one. So, the next one, we have this really adorable card. Yushara Reno. I have no fucking idea. It's a Fire Warrior. Level 3, 200 attack, 1900 defense. I can't pronounce this thing. This thing's like gibberish. You don't use the second effect of this card once per turn. First effect, all monsters face up on the field become fires. That's pretty sick. If you have Gozen matchup on the field and this thing's on field, they're stuck in the fires. That's pretty solid. But it's only, I guess it's a 1900 defense. That ain't too bad. And then its second effect is, which I think is an important one, it discards in your graveyard. Add your opponent, and your opponent has a fire monster on the field or in the graveyard. Special summon this card. I don't really know what deck is going to make this thing a lot. It's kind of like a little floodgatey card, honestly. This thing in goes in would be fantastic, but at the same time, why wouldn't you just play the Red Bear statue if you're like really wanting to lock your opponent? Like, cool, it's a 1900 defense, which is awesome, but without like goes in or anything, I don't know like what fire deck gets benefit if your opponent's monsters are fire. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. And what decks are hurt because they're fire now? Like, I don't think much. Like, Tier Elements, I guess they need Aquas, but you use the Aquas in the grave most of the time, so I don't think it's going to work on Tier Elements. Like, no, I can't think of a deck this card hurts, besides what goes in match on field. I don't know. This card's interesting. It's a level 3. Maybe you can make a whole deck around it. Like, it's like a really cool, goofy floodgate deck that's like, just get this guy into your hand some way, have a way to get to Gozen match, activate the Gozen match, win the duel. But other than that, it's gimmicky. Alright, now this card, I can see being played. I just don't know, like, how. Like, this card is cool as hell. It's a level 9, 2800 attack, 1000 defense, wins Cyber's monster. So if you're playing Code Talkers, it'll be searched off the spell when you make your light monster. But not light monster, when you make your wind monster. The only problem is this is competing with two other cards, that being Parallaxy and the Code Talker green one. I don't know its name, Explorer. So it's competing for those two. But this card is pretty sick. So you can special summon this card by banishing 2 Link monsters from your graveyard. Now that sounds like a steep cost, but in like code decks, like code deck talker decks, and like basic Link decks, that isn't that hard. Like the only card I want to see like this being played is like Salamangreat or like Marincess. But I can definitely see this being played, maybe in an Agnes or two. But Code Talkers will definitely play this card. D Golems will definitely play this card. But basically, that doesn't matter. What matters is all co-link monsters can make up to 2 attacks. All of them can. So let's say you have like a co-link board. Every single one of those monsters can attack twice now while this guy's on field. That is insane. That is an insanely good effect. You just made every card able to hit your opponent even harder. Now, I don't know if Cybers in particular were needing that, because you can always just make Update Jammer into big ass Acess code, blow up the board, attack twice, or like 4800, win the game. But now that all your little guys can do it, that's actually kind of cool. Not to mention, he is still a 2800. That's not bad either. And his third effect is basically, if you send the grave, just target one monster you control, gain 1000. That isn't bad as well. And now we have a new fairy spirit monster, Sakramira. I don't know. I'm Spiramira. I don't know how to say this card, but whatever. It's a light fairy spellcaster, level 4, 400 attack, 900 defense. It looks like all those spirit monsters that you play in like Bird. You know what I'm talking about, like Adhira or Armara. Looks really cool. Let's see what it does. It can't be special summon. You can only use the third and second effect. First and third effect of this card once per turn. So the second effect is, I guess, non-once per turn, or it's continuous. First effect, reveal this card in your hand. Immediately after this card resolves, normal summon one spirit monster from your hand. That's kind of cool. The fact you just reveal this card, normal summon any spirit monster. Doesn't say this spirit monster, so that's pretty solid. Second effect says, once a turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summon or flip summon, return it to the hand. Well, that's what all spirits do. And then third effect is, if this card is tributed, target one spirit monster in your graveyard, add it to hand. Not a bad card for spirits, but I don't know if it's a great card for spirits. Like, it's cool. You're getting another normal. It's revealing itself, so it helps you get out the bigger dudes, I guess. But bigger dudes require 2 tributes. Not to mention the whole gimmick of spirits is that they don't stay on the field. That's the biggest issue with spirits. That their whole gimmick is that they're ghosts, so they return to the hand. Like Senjus. I think Senjus are spirits, but whatever. But I don't know. Spirits need a lot of help. I don't know what this card's going to be played in. Like you said, Senjus is a deck that already normal summons like normal summon, so they wouldn't play that in that. I don't think you would play this in Bird, because they're a ritual deck, and they can already special summon out the big spirits without having to use this guy. So I don't know where this card has a home in, but we'll see. And then finally, for our last card, we have we started with a pendulum, we're ending on a pendulum. We have a Dark Fairy Pendulum effect monster. This is Harvest Angel of Doom. What a cool ass fucking name. During the main phase, destroy this card. If you do, add 1 Black Horn of Heaven from your deck to hand. Is this a counter fairy card? What the fuck? I guess it's a Dark Fairy. Yeah, it's a counter fairy card. Because I think Black Horn of Heaven's a counter trap. Yeah, this says, hey, blow me up. Search a fucking counter trap. Not to mention, I think, if I remember correctly, the counter fairy pendulum is a level 1 scale. So this card just basically says, hey, let's pendulum summon counter fairies now. Counter fairies are officially a pendulum deck, which is kind of crazy. You can only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or pendulum summon, add 1 Horn of Heaven from your deck to hand. If this card is tributed, place it in your pendulum zones. That's actually kind of insane, not gonna lie. This card is like kind of really cool counter fairy support, no joke. The fact that it just like searches Black Horn of Heaven, which is a counterattack. I don't even think we were playing in counter fairies, but now we can because now we have a way to search it. Not to mention, this is just a free pendulum scale. I gotta double check what the scale is for the other counter fairy guy, but I'm pretty sure it's like a 1 or a 4. So I think that's fine though. I gotta double check real quick. Bountiful, whatever it's called, but basically this card's insane for that deck. It just says, hey, let's make some pendulums, dude. I think the only issue now is that Counter Fairies is a trap deck, and this isn't like part of the archetype, so it's not like a consistent way to have both scales. And even if you did have both scales, this card is really distributing itself in order to get yourself the trap card. But I don't know, man. It seems really cool. The fact that it can just tribute itself to add a Black Horde of Heaven is pretty great. And it's a really cool artwork, so we'll just have to see. Hope you all enjoy.